is Sedna. Okay, hello guys and welcome back to this new episode. Today we are going to talk about Inuit and more specifically Inuit mythology and more specifically the figure of Sedna. So let's take just a step back like a second. Alright, so Inuk is the term that means person, whereas Inuk Titut means the people. And that is how Inuit refer to themselves. They refer to themselves with the term that means the people. Tunit specifically were the ancestral giants that were fought and defeated so that they could conquer and reside in that territory. Now, the mythology of the Inuit people is extremely fascinating. Why? Because of course, like any other mythology and folklore, is a mixture of being entertaining but also instructive. But the other reason is that it reveals a profound consciousness of the environment, a profound consciousness that their own diet is based on devouring souls. They cannot be vegetarians. There is no vegetation that grows in Greenland or more in general in the Arctic. And so what they have to do is necessarily eat and eat meat. But they also know very well not only that those creatures are endowed with a soul, but that a form of respect towards the environment that provides for them the only means for survival is absolutely necessary. They cannot do without. So it's an interesting mythology and it's an interesting perspective mostly because nowadays we kind of find ourselves in the same position when we realize that there are issues like climate change and what we have to do about it. How do we need to behave in order to safeguard the future? The future for ourselves and for our progenitors. And so with regard to their mythology, we have to consider that it's very important for them to respect the environment. That's why in Greenland, for instance, fishermen would give 3 shots as a form of warning for whales or walruses to be able to protect themselves. That is what is considered fair before killing them. And if you look at that, there is one figure that emerges that is indicative of this mythology, and that is Sedna. Who is Sedna? So the legend tells us that Sedna is the daughter of a man, sometimes depicted as the princess, the daughter of a prince, or the daughter of the king. Sedna, there are many versions here, but apparently meets a man. Now this man is completely covered up, he has a hood, so you cannot really see this person, up close. Certainly you cannot ask him like WhatsApp pictures. And so the father, once he sees that Sedna, the daughter, is interested in the man, decides to give her up for marriage. Now Sedna is a bit surprised. She's thinking like, am I not supposed to know this man before actually getting married? But anyway, they got married. They got married, and once they went to the house and the man kind of like removed his clothing, she could see that he was a crow. Some legends say a man with the head of a crow. And the man disappears the whole day. In the morning, he is a bird, goes out fishing, and comes back late at night with the dinner, basically. Now, Sedna is profoundly sad because of this situation. She realizes she doesn't love the man. And she cries so hard that the father hears her tears and her lament. So the father decides to go and pick her up. And take her via boat back home and got on a boat with her. During the crossing of the sea, though, some say there was a storm, some will say it is the man, the husband, that shows up in the form of a bird, in the form of a crow, and threatens to capsize the boat. The result is that the father throws into the water Sedna. Now, that's not very much fatherly love, but that is what actually happened. So the father throws Sedna into the water. Sedna tries to climb up, but the father cuts her fingers. Fingers would become seals. Then she tries one more time, and the father cuts her hands. The hands will become walruses. And then eventually she tries, persistent, she tries one more time, and the father this time cuts her forearms. And this time the forearms become whales. Now, Sedna eventually resides in the depths of the sea, and she is the main reference of the Anga cook. Who is the Anga cook? Okay, that is the shaman. In other words, when there is no availability of food, Inuit do know that that might depend on the fact that they have committed some transgressions. In other words, they haven't respected the animal, they haven't waited for the ceremony before eating, or they have upset the gods, the naturalistic gods. And so they traditionally would call up the Anga cook and say, Anga cook, please remedy to our mistakes. And the Anga cook would enter in contact in a state of trance, would enter in contact with Sedna and comb her hair. The act of combing Sedna's hair was to soothe her because in her hair are entrapped all the fishes of the sea. I thought that was just such a wonderful story to tell. Anyway, that is who Sedna is or was, according to your opinion. Anyway, and with that being said, we're done for today. So, can't wait to read all your comments, and I'll be talking to you next time in our new episode. But today, that's all. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Bye!